Good morning, America. It's Friday.
It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Well, yes, sir, Mr. Paul Harvey. He always knows when it's Friday, and once again, he's right. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. And it is Friday, finally Friday, the end of a kind of a very weird and suddenly very soggy week, at least last night. It's funny, you have the whole show planned, and then something happens, and it's all different. Who knew that storm was going to come last night? I mean, not quite as violent and suddenly as it did. And while it rained in Almond, it apparently, from what Brian's telling me, or he had on his news, it was way worse here in Hornell. I mean, way worse. And we have our guest live in the studio this morning, Hornell Mayor John Buckley.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me on, Jonathan.
Well, I think you'd be a very appropriate guest this morning. How did the storm go last night in Hornell? Any kind of damage or flooding or anything? Or
Well, I think it's safe to say that all of the above. Last night, obviously, you check your weather forecast, check the app on your phone. You can see that there's a thunderstorm coming. The severity of which it came and hit, I don't think too many people were ready for that. It definitely surprised me. I was actually down setting up Irish Fest with some of my Hibernian brothers, and we had all the tents set up. We were in the process of setting up the tables and chairs when the storm hit. And it seemed as the storm progressed, it just intensified minute after minute, and it ended up leveling the tents, and everything collapsed. And the volunteers and I, we hunkered down best we could. But I can tell you, I've been in a lot of rainstorms over the years, been in a lot of snowstorms. This was probably the most intense storm that I've actually physically, been in, been exposed to. Yeah.
Wow. Well, the mayor brought his phone in, and he took a number of videos last night as the storm was hitting. And from these videos, I mean, it was a flood.
It was. What happens is, you get so much rain in such a short amount of time that the system just gets overwhelmed. The sewer system can only take on so much water at a time. So when you get a big rainfall like we did last night, you'll have that flooding on the streets. And in many city streets, we had flooding. We had it on Main Street. We had it on many of the side streets. I know some residents had flooding in their basements that have dry basements and never have experienced any problems. So just to give you an idea of the severity of the storm, I was talking to my father last night, and my father worked for National Fuel Gas for nearly 40 years, and including the flood of '72, and he compared last night's storm to the storm way back then, if that gives you any idea of the severity of what we had last night. So
well, I was here in 1972, and I remember Hurricane Agnes. And that was pretty bad, but he said it was almost as bad as that.
Well, he compared it to that. He compared to the intensity of the storm. Maybe not the duration of the storm, but definitely the intensity of the storm. And but I'll say that the city was ready for it. The police department, the fire department, they were out responding immediately. The DPW as well. I can't say enough about all our crews. We had multiple fire trucks blocking off intersections where there were down trees or down power lines. NYSEG was out working into the wee hours of last night, trying to clear those lines and restore power. So it was all hands on deck. I was out myself with the DPW last night helping out, and just dragging tree limbs out of the streets and out of the roadways. It was just all hands on deck.
Wow. Well, how are things looking this morning?
A lot better. a lot better.
Okay,
it's not raining, so that's a good start right there. It actually wasn't as bad as I initially anticipated. I drove the streets last night, and as I said, we were picking up as much debris as we could. Driving around, after we got all the big limbs taken care of, I honestly expected it to be a lot worse than it was. I think the flooding was what really really stuck with people. Obviously, we had some large trees up on Dennis Ave. We had a very large tree fall down right across the entire street, blocked the roadway, took a lot of power lines with it, knocked the power off for those folks up there. So that could have been a dangerous situation. Luckily, we did not have any reports of any injuries. So
That's the main thing.
that's the important thing. That's the main takeaway right there is no one got hurt last night. And it's a very dangerous situation. And what happens in situations like that, Jonathan. You get a big rainstorm, you have tree limbs down. People tend to want to go out. You have flooding in the streets. People want to go out and see it. But that can lead to a dangerous situation too, because if there's down power lines and you don't know about it or you don't see them because of the darkness or because of the water or what have you, that could be a very dangerous situation. But we're very fortunate. We have professional firefighters and police force and the DPW, and they were all out working in unison to clean up, and the cleanup continues today.
I think people in the Hornell area can feel pretty safe because when something like this happens, it hits so fast and so hard that if these men and women were not trained in what they're doing, it could be a lot worse.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and my phone was ringing off the hook last night, as you can imagine. Everyone from police, fire, DPW to just concerned citizens, residents. I was on the phone last night with Alderman Steve Shinnebarger over in the 9th Ward, and he was giving me updates as to the street conditions in the 9th Ward, and everyone pitches in, and you do what you can to get through it, and Today's a new day.
That's right. We're speaking with Hornell Mayor John Buckley. Are there any reports of any power outages this morning, or is everything back on? Or
the last I knew, they were still experiencing some power outages up on Dennis Ave, and that would be like in Upper Bennett in that area. So that's where we had the worst of it, as far as the tree that came down and took a myriad of power lines. I drove up there last night with the DPW, and it was just a tangled mess of tree limbs, branches, and power lines all over the street, and that takes some time. And the size of the tree that fell up there, just the pure size of it, that's going to take some time to cut up and clear itself. The road is impassable. You couldn't get past that in a bulldozer. Wow. I don't know if I could hurdle that thing. That was so big, but they're working on it this morning as well. I just got, before I came up here to do the show with you, I got off the phone with the DPW, and they're continually working on that, in conjunction with NYSEG. So the efforts continue up in there, but I think that's the worst of it, though.
Okay. Very good, very good. Now, which brings me to my next subject here. As this storm hit, you were helping to set up the Irish Festival.
Yes.
So tell us about that. How's a little soggy last night? Yeah, true. But how's it looking this morning?
Well, we thought we were going to have the whole thing set up last night, and that was the original plan, and we were very close. And as I said earlier, we were setting up the chairs and tables. All the tents were already in place. We were doing some of the lighting for the stage, and then the storm hit, and just everything went in the wrong direction. All the tents collapsed. Some of my Hibernian brothers and I, we were actually under some of the tents as this was happening. We were trying to brace the tents, and not realizing that the severity of the storm or the intensity of the storm was picking up. And after so long, we just had to kind of cut our losses. And if you're familiar with that parking lot over there is a permanent storage shed. So we took shelter in that. While everything was collapsing around us, and it was kind of we were safe. We weren't really in danger. I suppose if we would have stayed out there under the tents, then that would have been a different story. But we all got to safety and just kind of watched all our work go down the drain, so to speak. But
Literally.
But today's a new day. All the Hibernians they're going to be down there this morning setting up,
right.
And trying to really just putting the puzzle back together. But the show must go on, and Irish Fest will go on as planned tonight and tomorrow. And
But speaking of which, tell us a little about the Irish Festival. How did it start? Whose idea was it? And how long has it been going? And
Well, the Hibernians actually, at least in Hornell, Bernie Magnani started the Hibernians some years ago. And Bernie was a former alderman. He was a former longtime city clerk in the city of Hornell, and obviously a lifelong Irishman. And yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, coincidentally, yes. And you know, just great guy, great family man. You know, I know his family very well and have for many years. And you know, some years ago he started the local chapter here in Hornell, and it really just grew exponentially. And that turned into Irish Fest, and it turned into the golf tournament that they do, along with a myriad of other things throughout the year. You know, it's a charitable organization. They raise money throughout the year, and they help out other organizations and scholarships and that sort of thing. So you know, it's really just one of those tremendous organizations that is really community minded and always gives back to the community. And you know, I'm happy to be a Hibernian, very proud of it, very proud of my brothers. And as I said, they're going to be down there, you know, working their tails off today to get this thing off the ground and piece it all back together. But no, the show will go on. We've got a great lineup tonight, and we're very excited.
There's lots of music. I know that. Lots and lots of music. There's games. Let me see. Vendors.
Games, vendors. We have all the usual fare. We'll have food. We'll have drink, music, entertainment. The whole thing kicks off tonight at between 5:30 and 6. We'll have opening remarks and a prayer. At 6 o'clock, we have the YMCA Fiddlers, and 6:30, Barry's Crossing. Then we have a short break, and then at 9, the Wild Rovers take the stage to close out the night. So from 9 to 11, the Wild Rovers will be here. And then obviously tomorrow we start things off.
5:30 until 11.
Yeah, 5:30 again. We have opening remarks and a prayer, and followed by the Copper Hounds, which is a local band here, at 6 o'clock. And at 7:30, the Donlin Brothers take the stage, and then we have well known, the Donlin Brothers, you know, which are Hibernians,
right.
And you know, they do a nice job, and you know, they're pretty well known around our area and play a lot of different venues, and then at 9 o'clock we have Crickwater, and they'll close the show down. So we've got you know, a lot going on the next 2 nights. A lot of vendors, lot of food, a lot of drink, a lot of friends and camaraderie. So it's going to be a green and great time. And hopefully rain free.
That's right.
Hopefully rain free.
You know, a couple of weeks ago we had the Gus Macker tournament. That's always a huge, huge event. That's been going for years and years. And now we have this. There's always something going on in Hornell. I mean, that's really the bottom line. I mean, always. You know?
There is. You know, you and I were talking off air before the show started about how fortunate we are to live in this valley, in this community, and really in this area. And it's absolutely true. You know, I think a lot of people take things for granted here in our area, but really, you know, where else would you rather live? You know, we had the storm last night, but in the grand scheme of things, we're very protected. We don't have you know, hurricanes or tornadoes or blizzards or earthquakes or anything like that. It's just such a beautiful area to live in. We're very fortunate to do so.
And we have our weather guy on the phone. We have Gary Best. Gary, hello.
Hello, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good, very good. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Okay, how's the weather going?
Well, we've got some pretty nice weather coming up overall during this weekend, but we still have to deal with showers and thunderstorms. Now, this morning's sunrise was at 6:19. It'll set at 8:12 this evening, and we're looking at a partially sunny day, mix of clouds and sun. Again, a few showers and storms could pop up during this afternoon. Probably not as strong as they were yesterday, though. High temperature at or a bit over 80. Any showers and storms in this evening, and then partly cloudy and 64, 65 overnight. For the weekend, it's a mix of clouds and sun, widely scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms. It turns increasingly humid, too. Temperatures low 80s on Saturday, mid-80s on Sunday, and partly sunny and warm into early next week.
Okay, well, Gary, thank you very much.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles. Here's Eddie Garcia.
In Major League Baseball games of note, the Phillies rallied for a 7-5 win over the Cubs. Philadelphia was down 5-0 at one point in this game. They scored 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth, capped by a Bryce Harper walk-off grand slam. Philadelphia moves 1 game back of Chicago and St. Louis for the final wildcard spot in the National League. It was the Cardinals losing to the Reds 2-1, so St. Louis is still tied with Chicago for the top spot in the NL Central. Indians outscored the Yankees 19-5. Cleveland scored 7 runs in the first inning, hit 7 home runs in the game, 2 by Jose Ramirez, including a grand slam. Twins over the Rangers 13-6. Minnesota remains a half game up on Cleveland for the top spot in the AL Central. A's down the Astros 7-6. It was the Mets over the Braves 10-8, and the Giants shut out the Diamondbacks 7-0. NFL preseason, Bengals beat the Redskins 23-13. Washington number 1 pick quarterback Dwayne Haskins was 7-14 passing for 114 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. The Ravens beat the Packers 26-13. Jets over the Falcons 22-10.
From the Fox Business Network, Facebook is being sued by users who say the company failed to warn them about the possibility its single sign-on tool could be hacked. The lawsuit says Facebook was aware because it protected its own employees. Hackers stole login codes in September, allowing them to access as many as 29 million accounts. Facebook is accused of failing to fix the issue for years. Though tariffs on iPhones and Apple computers have been delayed until December, USA Today says other Apple products could be hit with the tax. They are AirPod earbuds, the Apple Watch, and the HomePod speaker. The London Stock Exchange experienced a technical issue today. It kept stocks from trading for an hour and 40 minutes. It's the second outage for the exchange in 14 months. The Dow was up 99 yesterday. NASDAQ dropped 7, S&P up 7. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur with words from another happy payroll customer.
I've used it for a year now, and I've worried 0 time. I just enter in the time, it's calculated, and it's taken out of bank account, and it's just done. I love it.
Visit us at patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
Accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
The Ryan Agencies, your local, independent insurance agencies. The Ryan Agency is not beholden to any one insurance company. They work with many companies, offering unbiased insurance advice. Their interest is seeking your best interest. Contact the Ryan Agencies, good people offering unbiased advice, seeking your best interest.
Insurance protection you can rely on. The Ryan Agency.
Today at Simmons Rockwell Ford in Hornell, Bath, or Halstead, drive a new 2019 Ford Escape SE 4x4, equipped with heated power seat, 8-inch touchscreen media, and alloy wheels. Now buy for only $21,099. Shop the Simmons Rockwell Ford dealerships in Hornell, Bath, or Halstead. Simmons-Rockwell.com.
And we are back. Here we are. We've been speaking this morning with Hornell Mayor John Buckley, who was in the middle of setting up the Irish the festival last night, and and then came the rain, and it rained really hard, really fast, and there's something of a minor flood in Hornell. So everything is good this morning. Everything is set up, and they'll be ready to go this evening at 5:30.
Yes, the crews are out cleaning up right now. Irish Fest is being set up as we speak, so we are definitely on track. As far as the city goes, the DPW is obviously very active this morning, cleaning up all the down branches and the limbs and that sort of thing. Broadway Mall was kind of a mess last night, and I've got to give credit to Officer Curtis Stanford, who assisted me on pulling a downed tree out from Broadway and getting it out of the roadway. So it was just one of those timing things. We both kind of converged on the same spot at the same time. He was off duty and gave me a hand and along. So it's kind of like I said, all hands on deck. Everyone's pitching in to clean up, and the city will be up and running in no time. Already is. We're already there. Just a matter of cleanup.
Now you did mention a big tree was down on Upper Dennis Avenue, I think it was.
Yeah, Dennis Ave. Very very large tree. Very fortunate no one got hurt. Another tree down on the end of Maple Street. came very close to hitting some people in a car, but luckily no one was hurt there in that instance. You call it luck of the Irish or whatever you want to call it, but
yeah, there you go. That's right.
But no injuries reported to me last night, from the police or the fire department. So that's the good thing. That's the important takeaway.
Okay, alrighty. So everything is cleaned up, sort of, very, very close, except that maybe that large tree. So if now you said it's blocking the road, still, right?
As of this morning, yes, it was. So
if you find the road blocked by a tree or something, the crews are working as fast as they can, and it will be cleaned up very, very soon. So just hang in there. Let me see. Oh, you mentioned a pole. That's right.
Oh,
with all these poles being taken. Mayor Buckley found his own pole, and I'm not quite sure exactly what site you went to, but apparently you're neck and neck with Kirsten Gillibrand.
Well, I saw a recent poll. We're talking about presidential candidates on the Democratic side, and I saw a recent poll where Kirsten Gillibrand was polling at 0%, and off air we were kind of kidding around. I said, well, geez, I'm neck and neck with her. I'm at 0% too.
Okay.
So
there you go. Hey.
So there's a little political humor for you, Jonathan.
I love it. Okay, so Mayor Buckley neck and neck with Kirsten Gillibrand. That's great.
And I'm not even running, so
that's
hey.
Right. Haven't spent any money on the campaign.
$0. Haven't been doing anything, so.
Kirsten Gillibrand. Okay, well, Mayor, anything you care to pass on to our listeners?
Yeah. Thank you for everyone last night. I know a lot of residents were pitching in, helping out their neighbors, clearing out streets and driveways, and really that's what Hornell and the Valley is all about. It's about that sense of community, that sense of pitching in and helping others, and we really saw that last night. I saw a lot of residents out just being there for others, checking on their neighbors, checking on their elderly neighbors, making sure that they were okay, and that's what I really love about Hornell and our community is just that sense, that deep sense of community.
One of the first things I noticed when I moved here a long time ago is that people in the Hornell area help each other. If there is a person in need or a family in need or something goes wrong, the community is right there.
All the time, Jonathan.
Always. And maybe it was the places I lived, I don't know. But it's so different elsewhere. It really is. But here in the Hornell area, people help other people. That
is so true, and it's not necessarily limited to people that you know. Even neighbors that you don't know,
right.
There's still that deep sense of community where you just want to pitch in, help out, roll up your sleeves, do what you got to do, and we saw that again last night.
And having dealt in news as long as I have, you read about what goes on elsewhere in major urban areas or even moderate urban areas, and it just is not like that there. But it is here.
Very true.
And we are so lucky to live here. And I think of that every single day. We are so lucky to live here because all these stories I have in front of me, I think I'd rather live here. Thanks.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of places, and this is home. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Well, Mayor, it's been a real pleasure having you on.
Well, thanks for having me. Been a fun time.
Okay, and that's it for this morning's show, and I will see you Monday at 8:05. Bye.